Madison matches. Volleyball is the next major league.
Talk Badger sports year-round with the Jump Around podcast.
I love the fact that, you're asking Melvin Gordon, you're asking James Wright, right? Some guys that are absolutely phenomenal.
Tune in for the Top Badgers conversations every week, featuring special guests with Wisconsin players, coaches, and more.
Coach Bo Ryan famously told me I was the worst defensive player that he's ever seen in his 30 years of coaching.
The Jump Around, brought to you by GameDay Men's Health, streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Gruber Law Offices presents Thanalysis.
Republic of Congo.
Yes, sir.
And Spain.
A podcast from Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Serge Ibaka.
Yes, sir.
Also supported by Carbliss, premium ready-to-drink cocktails.
One of the best chefs in the world.
And Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
Only way to get me, you have to come to Paris.
Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Madison, Wisconsin is as good as it gets.
It's all about the Badgers.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
Games like this is what really separates college football from everything else.
Open up the history books. Here comes Rondell.
That was J.J. Watt, and what a story this young man is. Gordon again! What a performance by Melvin Gordon!
And the pass rush gets home for the Badgers.
Camp Randall lets it roar.
An unrivaled fan base, the best college sports town in the world. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
I love being right, but it's a tough day to be right, admittedly. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday, presented by Coors Light across the Good Karma Brands family of stations. ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, ESPN Beaver Dam. ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday is presented by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer that's cold as the Rockies, cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. For peak refreshment when the mountains are blue, you know what to do. Prime time.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And listen, I was wrong. I thought the Badgers would win this, but I was right. The thing we learned the most about the Badgers today was not the quarterback. It was not the defense. It was head coach Luke Fickell. I still believe Luke Fickell is the answer in Wisconsin. Don't get me wrong. I don't want there to be any parsed words about that. But he did not have this team ready to compete. Even if they were going to lose, he didn't have them ready to go into Kinnick and do their thing. Adam Mertz, alongside me here. Initial thoughts on the Badgers' 42-10 loss to Iowa.
Welcome to Clunkerville. Ugh. I did not see a kind of effort like this coming, or lack thereof, from the Badgers. I just didn't. Like they hadn't responded like this all year. This is so reminiscent of last year's doozies against Northwestern in Indiana. You're coming off a game where you give Penn State, like a quality program, 3.5 quarters of a really good game. You're getting into the meat of the schedule, the time when you really have to show your worth in the Big Ten, and you come up with this, and like the lasting impression that I have of this game is that little cutaway that they did, and we talked about it a lot, where Luke Fickell is sitting back on his haunches, picking at the artificial turf in Kinnick, and just thinking, I don't know, I would love to know what was going through his mind at that point.
Listen, they're not in a bad spot in the Big Ten, all things considered. This was the game you wanted to win, right? But just sitting there, obviously that was when the touchdown got called back. But for Iowa, of course, the Badgers had no
Brendan
touchdowns
Sullivan's
called back.
Touchdown, non-touchdown.
But yeah, I mean, I've been there. I've been getting my butt kicked, and you have to take a moment and think, what? How did this happen? What did I fail? And like, I imagine that was going on through his mind, but it's bigger than that. It feels like.
Yeah, this was an embarrassment. This was, like 8 penalties on the first drive. Tucker Ashcraft had 3 procedure calls in the first half. There was a 3rd and 33 situation. There was that 2 bad picks. I know one was a pinball, interception. But
it should have been an easy pick, right? That was because the linebacker wasn't ready to get thrown the ball directly.
I mean, yeah, and like getting gashed, 329 rushing yards for Iowa tonight. It was a clinic. It was a clinic.
It was terrible. There are 3 words that I have written down: energized, organized, and disciplined. And the Badgers got hammered on all 3 of those words. 844-770-3776. That's your way in. The ESPN Madison talk and text line. We're here to react with you, alongside of you. We want to hear what you have to say and your thoughts after that game. We've got the poll in the field. Is this the Badgers' most embarrassing loss in the Fickell era? Right now it's 87-13, 55 votes in about 4 minutes. 87% say yes, this is the Badgers' most embarrassing loss in the Luke Fickell era. Mertzy, do you think that's the case?
I wholly endorse that point of view.
That's an interesting way to say that.
So like I just mentioned, that Northwestern game last year, that was definitely the low point of last year. And there was nothing. There was no spark. You're at home. You're playing a Northwestern team that just doesn't have a lot of juice, and you come out and lay an egg. And that was terrible. But the way that you can blame a lot on first year and transition and just kind of finding their way around. This should not happen at this point. It just shouldn't happen. And so, you talked about the focus on Luke Fickell and whether he's the long-term answer. I think that Luke Fickell's got a lot to prove here in the last 3 games in terms of where he has this program and whether it's ready to play. We talked through it. You got number 1 and likely undefeated Oregon coming in 2 weeks. They still have another game next week, but they're going to come in undefeated. Then you've got Nebraska, who is another probably, like, you can imagine the fans in Nebraska having this same conversation tonight after losing at home to UCLA about where are we really, in year 2 of the Rule era. And then you've got Minnesota, which went into Champaign today and took care of Brett Bielema's Illini. And, like I said a week ago, win number 6 is going to be the hardest one of the year for the Badgers. And I'm not super optimistic that it's coming.
No, and
I'm not even partially optimistic.
I struggle with this because it's felt this way all season. I wish that the Badgers were where the Minnesota Gophers are right now.
Whew. I'm not disputing it. I'm saying, wow, that's a tough statement.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Low statement.
Look at it.
No, you're spot on.
Minnesota's above us.
You're spot on.
in the Big Ten rankings. They just took care of a good football team today, and yes, they have some bad losses, but they at least are showing signs of life. Now, I do want to put out there that it is still in the growing pains era for Luke Fickell, but I wish it were getting near the end. That said, I was a late bloomer. I was 16 years old, and I went to the driver to get my driver's license. I failed my first time for going too slow. Think about that. After that, I came back the next week, retook the test, passed, and I wrote down on the sheet, 6 feet tall. And the person behind the counter looked at me and said, Alex, come on. Are we really going to do this right now? I might have been 5'10", 5'11", but I wore size 15 shoes. I knew that I was not done. I looked like I was 8 years old. I was probably scaring people as I got behind the driver's seat of the car because I looked just so childish. But here I am. I stand at 6'4", 6'5" on a good day. When I've got my Hokas on, I'm tall.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get there. But now I play a professional sport, semi-professional, whatever you want to call it, the UFA. I play ultimate Frisbee for the Madison Radicals. I feel like I've done my fair share to get to like a pretty substantial good spot. Luke Fickell is currently that 16-year-old writing down national championship on his Wisconsin driver's license. And the entire world is looking at him saying, really? Really, man? Because that's what he did. He came in, he said, I'm going to be a national champion. Right now, I'm going to put him at 5'11". He's not 6 foot yet. A 6 foot tall person would have gone into Kinnick and won a close, gritty game.
Right.
But it's one of those days, man. That was not good.
So wait, I want to take this. This is where I thought you were going on this. Where are the size 15 shoes? What do you see right now in this program that you're like, okay, there's a there's hope and there's a promise and there's a trajectory to where you're going.
Oh, man. So we're talking about the base, right? And what we know is he's gotten a non-Power 5 team to go to a national, the playoff.
Yep.
And now in the new look Big Ten, the playoff is attainable. It is not this year, obviously, but it is an easier task to get there. There's also the excitement around the NIL. He's doing a great job marketing this team, and the commits that we're getting all of a sudden go from 3 stars to 4 stars immediately. I am worried about decommits. I am worried about people not wanting to be a part of a team when they lose to Iowa, but in this fashion. If it were a close game, it probably still wouldn't fine.
Yeah.
But there's still the hope and the understanding that, okay, things are still, they have to be trending up. Braden Locke played terribly for his coach today. He did.
Yeah, he did. Go on.
I don't have a whole lot more on that part, but you go for it.
So let's go back to like a premise that we discussed on pregame about who you're going to learn about today. Basically, what you're saying is you learned nothing new about Braden Locke because you've seen this before.
Admittedly, I learned more about Braden Locke. I was under the understanding that Braden Locke is the kind of guy who'd get you to a bowl game and like you could count on to do so. He looked abysmal today.
Yeah.
I mean, even the little things, like he'd rush for a first down, and you and I are just laughing our asses off sitting at the bar at Liberty Station where we were for pregame as he like crumpled to the ground.
The ginger crumple.
What is going on, man?
Looked like some size 9 shoes for sure. Gotta be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, he looks. We may have gotten the most out of him, and it's going to be hilarious when we look back at the Wisconsin record books. And Braden Locke, who probably will, and I want to get into this a little bit later, but he'll probably get a handful of games to go from here. But like, we're not going to remember him, and people are going to be like, who threw for 62 yards?
I think it was 79. 379 yards. 7th most all time in program history.
What? Where was that today? He didn't even try.
They weren't playing Purdue, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When you play Purdue, it's easy. When you play a team that actually has a defense and has a qualified head coach, defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator, it's a little different.
They are really good at defense.
Man, what a clinic by Phil Parker, by Dr. Phil tonight. He just put on a clinic against the Badgers. Longest tenured defensive coordinator in the nation. 13 years there. He's been with Kirk Ferentz since 1999. He knows the program. He knows the identity. He knows the kids. There's still a developmental program. They're getting in these guys that stick, and they were on top of everything tonight. So well coached, so disciplined. It was like there was a bowl game that the Badgers played in the late 90s against Georgia, and they were calling out plays at the line. And that's what I felt like tonight when I was watching. Anything that the Badgers did, there were 2 Iowa guys sitting and waiting for it to develop.
They were laughing at us.
They just had it in hand. And it's weird because the way this game started out, and it sounds foolish now, like it was the middle of the first quarter, and both teams had moved the ball a little bit. And we were talking about this. I'm like, I don't know, man. This is still a toss-up game at this point. Like, this could have gone in a lot of different directions. And it went straight downhill. And it's, to me, it gets back to, we can talk about the lot. We've been all about the offense. To me, it gets back to the complete and utter inability to control any aspect of the Iowa Hawkeyes running game, including by Brendan Sullivan. Right. It's all about that.
To control that or to do anything. I mean, like, this team was outmatched in seemingly every conceivable way. As the Badgers lose 42-10. That is, it's a hard number to think about because the Badgers just did that to other teams. We did that to Rutgers within the month.
Yeah, I know.
It is hard to conceive.
Like an overnight.
It's the highs and lows that. Bringing it back one moment. Adam Mertz, Alex Gravatt. We've got Primetime Wollersheim behind the glass. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light. And we were talking before the show, it just in passing, about what it takes to be good at something. And I'm trying, as I'm on the Radicals, I'm trying to do the kickoffs effectively. It's called the opening pull. You throw the disc as far as you can, and the other team then fields it. You give your team a chance to run down. There's different things you can do. I want to pull for the team because it gets me on the field, right? I don't because I throw 80% good pulls, which is pretty good. but you're not good at something until you can do it 95% of the time. 90%, I'll say.
Yeah.
And this is something my roommate and I talk about all the time. And this falls out of the 10%. This is if you were a good team, you would have been closer because you would have been doing the right thing 90% of the time. But it's just proof that our floor's not there. And I think at a certain point, you have to look at Luke Fickell and say, dude, how did you not have this team ready to go for what we all knew was going to be a hard-fought match?
I mean, absolutely. And you can blame, you can try to attribute and apologize, some type of hangover off of that Penn State game. I did not expect this team to not be ready. That's the one thing I will say in all the wins, all the losses out of this last streak, not counting the first 2 games of the year. Those were garbage. The losses lost to Alabama, the loss to USC, the 3 wins coming out of that, the Penn State game. The team was ready to play, came out strong, held up, and the losses were a give out based on horsepower. It was all about the talent on the field. The wins, a lot the same way, like dominated, took advantage of physical mismatches and went. This one, just not ready, not prepared, fragile, broke down, could do nothing to stem the tide once Iowa started turning it. This is not an overpowering Iowa team. This is a really good rushing Iowa team with a solid defense, and the Badgers had no answer, no way to stop the momentum. They 42 points. 42 points to an Iowa team.
That's insane. It's hard to fathom.
That really has no passing game.
That's an offense that averaged 15.4 points per game last season, by the way.
What was the 2 truths and a lie?
Let's
revisit. It was
this.
6 of their games
they won. 6 games
Yeah.
last season by scoring less than 20 points.
And this is not a dynamic offense.
I will say this is now the 4th time they've scored 40 points this season, but you're right. Not dynamic whatsoever.
Backup quarterback.
Brendan Sullivan looked like Jaden Milroe today.
Backup quarterback.
No, seriously.
The Badgers' defense, offense, and even special teams probably needed to figure something out. Maybe they could have had a Pepsi. Enjoy Pepsi, a proud partner of the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin football player Hunter Wohler gets game day ready with Pepsi, and so should you. Try Pepsi Zero Sugar, the perfect drink for your tailgate party as a tasty mixer. Man, there's just nothing good going on. The Badgers lose 42-10, 844-770-3776. We want to hear from you next, and we're going to talk about the quarterback situation next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts?
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
No, listen. If they made our goalposts just a little wider, and why just yellow? It's Green Bay. Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, I get it. You can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want. From durable materials and foldable miles-away hardware to custom colors and ease of maintenance, backed by quality craftsmanship, energy efficiency, and warranties that will last for years.
And this has got to be the Pella Dagger.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 60 months at PellaWI.com. Okay, now I've got popcorn and soda.
Right here.
$22.50, please.
Too bad we can't customize concession prices.
That's it. You've got this, partner?
I'm out of here.
Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Heart disease and stroke claim more lives per year than all forms of cancer combined. So let's make sure you're keeping your heart healthy. Join Stoughton Health's advanced practice nurse Tina DeGroot for Cardiology 101, a 60-minute free online talk on Thursday, November 7th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. We'll explore topics like how does the heart work, lifestyle choices that affect the heart, medications that are used to prevent and treat heart disease. To sign up, visit stoughtonhealth.com, then click on Classes and Events.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Hey, this is John Audius, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball play-by-play broadcaster. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand, Madison's new home for Wisconsin Badgers volleyball.
Give me something.
It's a misdirection on a couple of fakes. Now Locke loads it up and throws the pick. Deshaun Lee steps in front. Lee looking to return it, and he gets crunched by midfield. Noah Kowski catches up, but the mistake from Locke, his 7th pick of the year.
That was Braden Locke throwing his first of 2 interceptions, both stunningly bad. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Adam Mertz. We've got Primetime Woolersheim keeping us sounding good in the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studios. This is Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light, as we react to a 42-10 thumping of the Wisconsin Badgers. And attention business owners and executives looking for a bank that's invested in your community, look no further than Starion Bank, your full-service business bank that supports local initiatives. Visit a business banker at one of their convenient branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, Monona today, or go online at starionbank.com. 844-770-3776 is your way into the show. We're continuing to keep an eye on the poll, which is currently 86% of the 179 votes in a very short amount of time. That was a quick turnaround for a ton of people saying that this is the most embarrassing loss in the Fickell era for the Wisconsin Badgers. And I think, well, yes, we learned about Fickell. The overwhelming majority of people in our first poll during our pregame show said that we were going to learn more about quarterback Braden Locke today. And we learned something. He looked terrible. And it begs the question, if this is what you're going to get, how can you responsibly continue to put him in the starting position of the Wisconsin Badgers football program?
I mean, it begs the question. It does at this point. And the trouble is, where do you go? Where do you go from here? They're in a situation right now where they just don't have depth at that position. Tyler Van Dyke with the ACL out.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Nick Evers out, transferred.
What about Matt Tower?
Yeah, I mean,
he got playing time. He looked fine, and he's a big-bodied guy.
Yep.
He's something that the Badgers are excited about moving forward.
I'm not playing him against Oregon. I'm not introducing him to college football, to real college football.
I think that's fair.
Against number 1 Oregon at home. Braden, you're gonna have to go out there. Braden, you're gonna be like the middle reliever.
Lamb.
You're gonna be the middle reliever who is coming in with a 7-run deficit, and you need 5 innings out of you. You got to go out and perform. Listen. Like they're in a bad spot in a lot of ways right now, and I hate how like every loss and every win it turns into like this existential conversation about where this program is headed. But there's something in my head tonight, something that's just kind of itching at me, where this thing is teetering a little bit.
What do you mean?
The way that they lost tonight, the way that things went down, the path ahead here, like. It's teetering. They get smoked by Oregon. I'm saying if they get smoked by Oregon,
they likely will.
Which most likely will. That Nebraska game is going to be really important. Lose to Minnesota at home. Say you lose to Nebraska. Say you lose at Nebraska. Say you get beat at home in the Axe game against Minnesota.
That would be heartbreaking. If you go 0-4 to end the season, lose bowl game eligibility.
Yes.
You think that's possible?
I think it's entirely possible. I think it's entirely within
against
reason.
Purdue.
Yeah.
And
at this
then
point,
blew out Rutgers.
So and where I'm kind of in a roundabout way dialing back to your question about Braden Locke is, when do you lose the locker room? By putting him out there at starting quarterback.
That's a good question.
And when is it better to take that chance to say, we're gonna give you a shot, Mabry Mettauer? I still think that you're starting Braden Locke in these games, but maybe plays late against Oregon, just get some snaps, get him in there, and then I'm on watch at the Nebraska game. If Braden Locke starts in an awful way in that game, I can see a yank. There.
I do think, and we'll talk about this more when we get to the drive of the game. He earned himself the ability to end the game. Braden Locke did. Braden Locke, if they don't go down and score a touchdown on that touchdown drive, their only touchdown drive, which, hey, on the bright side, that's the first time the Badgers have scored a touchdown in 23 possessions against Iowa. In 2 full matchups.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal. So, hey, I hear you. And you can't make a change confidently at this point in the season because there's been so many goods. So it becomes, again, we're going to learn more about Luke Fickell. How do you ride this? Because he's riding a huge, we called October, Braden Locktober.
Yeah.
It was his coming out party. He's 7th all-time in single game passing in Wisconsin Badgers history. And then he turns around and he lays this stinker. Absolute stinker. Braden Locke, 15 to 29 for 137. That's 4.7 yards per completion. And a touchdown and 2 interceptions. And should have been a third on that opening drive.
Yeah, I know.
But then all of the crazy penalties.
Well, and a fourth toward the end of the game when he tried to force it to CJ in between that bracketed coverage.
Sure.
On the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. No, I mean, so we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the quarterback because that's where a lot of the attention goes. And because of the concern just over, what do you have in that quarterback room
and he
at
can't
this point?
Move.
And he can't move. So there's a lot we can say about that. But as we discussed from the start, this was a decimation in all phases of the game.
It was tough.
It was terrible. Let's go back to the offensive line. Let's go back to
let's start there. So to open the game, he had Braden Locke had time in the pocket.
Yeah.
It felt like he wasn't being pushed out of the way quite so bad.
Yeah.
He misread some blocks and he ran into a couple of, I don't know if they counted them as sacks, but he got tackled for a loss.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Right? If he's going to try and learn behind that, that's okay. But it's this consistent thing, and I don't know if it's a training thing. I don't know if it's the fact that we're not getting the recruits who we could have. There's just no length. They don't have the full game strength and endurance to keep up with the teams that we're playing against that I believe the Wisconsin Badgers should be competing with, because this is a proud franchise. This is a great program historically. And they're third in Big Ten wins since 2010 or something like that.
Is there any history on this roster, though?
No.
You bring that,
no.
You talk about the difference between these two programs. The difference is that half the roster for the Badgers are guys who just got here 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You look at that Iowa team is connected.
Are you blaming the transfer portal?
I'm not blaming the transfer portal.
Okay.
I'm blaming the fact that obviously this is a rebuilding program. But even as a rebuilding program, you got shown what a good, cohesive program actually looks like tonight. And you didn't just lose. They got blown up by 32 points. It's not. I mean, Braden Locke alone.
They covered.
They covered by a lot.
By 10 times they covered.
Over 10 times, 4 times. It was a 3-point spread.
And there are points off the board because of a doinked field goal.
That's true.
Which they would have kicked from 75.
Yeah, that one was going from 75.
Crazy.
That would have been an all-time Iowa moment. But yeah, that's what it is, that Iowa has the identity.
Yeah.
We know exactly who they are. Coming into this game, we felt like we started to figure out the Badgers were the Dairy Raid team again.
Right.
Who was this team? What was the best way you would characterize that team tonight?
Wow, I didn't realize this until just now. The Badgers gave up 329 yards on the ground.
Rushing.
Alone.
329 rushing.
If they gave up less than 100 passing.
They put Caleb Johnson back in the Heisman conversation.
Seriously.
Honestly. He should be.
Yeah, there was a tweet tonight. I know we'll get to tweets later, but Scott Docterman, who's like a longtime scribe in Iowa, sounding off on that portion of the Wisconsin fan base who believes that this whole idea, this whole Luke Fickell transition, and Phil Longo probably as much. Wisconsin is learning a painful lesson about forfeiting your identity. All the Badgers needed those years was a QB to go next level. They had an awesome offensive line, great running back, decent wide receivers, and elite defense. Had great pass rushers, perfect run fits. Just a QB, not a wholesale change. Now, I'm not saying I espouse that, but it gets harder and harder to defend what's going on here as this goes on. When you have a loss like this, again, one loss, not going to read a ton into it. There's some time here that you need to rebuild the program, but you can't fall off. You can't fall off the cliff and expect this thing to keep going forward.
Badgers. 4-star quarterback Carter Smith, official visit to Wisconsin for Oregon game, November 16th, my birthday.
They should tell him not to come. They should find another weekend.
They should tell him to suit up. Come on, so show what you got. We don't care, man. Like, come play. Luke Fickell's getting that. We never had that.
I know.
We never had that before.
And I think that's fair to say, going back to your size 15 shoes.
Size 15 shoes.
Like, where's the promise? Where's the thought that this still could be something eventually? And so far, it's the recruiting.
Big foot
but you got, 1 month? Is it 1 month from today? National Signing Day?
National Signing Day, yeah. It would be 1 month from today.
1 month, December 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens between now and then?
Oregon, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
And so where are those guys? Are they still buying? Are they buying
after tonight?
I don't know. So like the old coaching trick is when your team's great, you sell the recruits on be a part of this program. When the team stinks, you say, I need you out there. You're better than this. Change the face of what's going on.
That's the thing. I
truly believe. Can he sell that?
The Badgers have such a unique spot. We are recruiting against Iowa. We are recruiting against Minnesota. We are recruiting against Nebraska and Illinois at this point, right? This Midwest contingent. We're not really recruiting the same players as Ohio State.
No.
Michigan, maybe.
No.
Maybe if you're lucky. Right now, yeah. Michigan's in the toilet, but they'll figure it out. They'll get out. They have 110,000 people at every home game. There's something to that.
Oh, yeah.
But the Badgers have a truly vibrant and exciting history. I truly believe that. It's not more exciting than Michigan, not more exciting than Ohio State. But the rest of the teams that I named, the Badgers have a better history than them, other than maybe Iowa. They have a higher ceiling with Luke Fickell. They have this exciting unknown ability that we've seen. And so this month is so incredibly important. I wrote off you were going to get blown out by Oregon. You can't now. If you want to look like you have it together, you don't have to beat Oregon. You're not going to beat Oregon. You have to hold yourself to a high standard in that game. You have to beat Nebraska. And it would just be so satisfying to go get another statement win, which they've shown that it's possible. Do you think, Mertzy, that the Badgers can get a big win, like a big just blowout with the remaining schedule?
A blowout? I'm not seeing that. No.
Do you think they can go 2-1?
2-1? No.
Whoa.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay,
I would think at 1-2 at this point and getting bowl eligible, I think that's your goal.
I missed the Penn State game. I'm going to be honest. I watched the highlights. I've read the stats. I read the stories. I missed the Penn State game. I was in North Carolina with a bunch of Duke fans, so we were talking basketball. So I don't know exactly what that looked like, but my most recent memory of this team is good game. Like they were trending up, and all of a sudden it's fallen off. I think that this feels like the biggest fluke of the season.
Elaborate on fluke.
42-10 loss.
You're saying this is an aberration.
I'm not saying that. So they looked ugly to start the season, but they started to put it together.
Yeah.
The loss to USC stung, especially knowing what happened as the season went along. But the loss to Penn State, that was probably going to happen. The loss to Alabama, of course that happened.
Yeah.
This game feels distinctly different because it's not a ranked opponent.
Yep.
It's someone who you believe you're head-to-head with. Like, you are just neck and neck.
Yep.
And then to get blown out, I think that's a bit of a fluke. Ryan, you gave me a weird look primetime. What do you feel about that?
When you say fluke, do you mean like you feel like this wasn't the Badgers team? Like this is not the team we're going to see going forward? This is something, the outlier performance?
I think that this is a bit of an outlier performance. I think the Badgers, if you play this game 100 times, even if they lose more than half, they stay in it.
I don't think so. I got to be honest. I do not think that's the case. At Kinnick, the circumstances that they had, situation setting, I just don't think that they were ready for this. I don't think as a program they were legitimately ready for this.
That's tough to hear. The Badgers.
I think you're spot on. And I don't know. So the question is, what do you read into this? This was a way worse matchup than I expected it to be in terms of personnel. Way worse. I mean, that Penn State rushing attack is pretty tough. And they held them largely in check for a good portion of that game until they got worn down late.
They did the same to
That was a
Rutgers,
weird
who had a great
This was like
guy.
horrible run fits. Guys like completely undisciplined, no idea what was going on. Second level, third level guys lost where the ball was. This was an atrocious defensive performance.
I'll say that the running back for Iowa, Caleb Johnson, the star.
Oh my gosh.
He averages 5.14 yards after contact. I bet you he probably had 10 yards after contact today. Because there was gaping holes all night long.
Huge.
He could go and do whatever he wanted.
The Badgers could use a superhero for this game, and you can be a superhero too. Save money and save the planet. Ditch the energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar, your local solar energy company based in Madison. Visit everlightsolar.com to learn more and make the switch today. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, even today, believe it or not. They're still a very proud partner. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the PAC's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the PAC. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Pizza Hut's wings are the best thing to happen to pizza night since, well, pizza. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Big Boneless Wing Bundle. For only $15.99, enjoy 16 crispy boneless wings in 2 different flavors, 2 dipping sauces, and a double order of fries. The wings are sauced and tossed to perfection and available in 9 flavors like honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and sweet chili. It's the perfect bundle for game days, girls' nights, family night, or any tailgate party. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and football season is back, and you know I'm watching every snap with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in my hand. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. You make picks for your pick'em entry and choose if a player will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 2.5 touchdown passes, or even Tyreek Hill lower than 150 receiving yards. Over 1 million fans got in on the action last season, and it is time for you to jump aboard. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app at UnderdogFantasy.com or sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Join me this football season and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Monday nights this football season, huddle up for the Great Dane Huddle, live from the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company.
What is the best method then to overcome it? Because, I mean, you've had quarterbacks who throw pick sixes in your time coaching.
No, I don't think I did.
Really?
You never threw the ball.
Well, fair.
We pitched it a couple times.
There you go.
The Great Dane Huddle, driven by Janesville Kia. Mondays at 6 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the Pack's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the Pack. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
From LA to Piscataway, this is your college football scoreboard update, driven by Metro Ford of Madison.
Good afternoon, Madison, and those watching the ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday Postgame show. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and first update, we got to tell you about the 42-10 loss for the Wisconsin Badgers. The Badgers falling to 5-4 on the season, and perhaps the most embarrassing loss of the Luke Fickell era. The Badgers mustering just 261 total yards compared to 329 rushing yards for the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes putting up 40 points for the 4th time this season, absolutely decimating the Badgers, who now fall to the Hawkeyes for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons. Elsewhere around the Big Ten tonight, Ohio State taking down number 3 Penn State. Ohio State likely moving up from their number 4 spot in the AP poll. And then Illinois also falling to Minnesota 30-25. Badgers finished their season against Minnesota. And then Nebraska, their second to last opponent of the season, fell 26-20 to UCLA. Meanwhile, the Oregon Ducks cruising to a 38-17 victory at Ann Arbor tonight. They'll be taking on the Badgers at Camp Randall in 2 weeks. Make sure to tune into ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday's pregame coverage ahead of that one, as the Badgers got their bye week coming up next.
Metro Ford of Madison, Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Learn more at metrofordofmadison.com.
Madison, Wisconsin is as good as it gets.
It's all about the Badgers.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
Games like this is what really separates college football from everything else.
Open up the history books. Here comes Rondell.
That was J.J. Watt, and what a story this young man is.
Gordon again. What a performance by Melvin Gordon.
And the pass rush gets home for the Badgers.
Camp Randall lets it roar.
An unrivaled fan base, the best college sports town in the world. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
Despite the great music and great vibes, Wisconsin Badgers fall 42-10 to the Iowa Hawkeyes. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Adam Mertz and, of course, Ryan Wollersheim behind the glass. 844-770-3776. That's your way into the show. Canopy Wealth Management carries a long-standing tradition of working in the best interest of their clients every single day. The team at Canopy emphasizes building local relationships and believe that values matter and strengthening their community. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. And today the Badgers lose in absolutely disgusting fashion. But there's still hope for the future, and I don't think that the season is necessarily over, even though we do kind of have to reevaluate what the rest of the season is going to look like, what success looks like there. Before we do that, let's talk about today with the drive of the game.
It's the drive of the game.
He's got the corner, and the Badgers touchdown answers quickly.
On ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
The Badgers punctuating and pulling away.
The drive of the game is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers, helping guys score for more than 25 years.
Once again, probably could have had a more appropriate open for this one, considering this drive of the game is not going to be a good one for the Badgers, guys.
Hey, man, speak for yourself. Okay, I'll start then.
Speak for myself?
Yes. Here's why.
What was your silver lining?
Here's why. Yes. Oh, the first touchdown in 23 drives for the Wisconsin Badgers. And hear me out. Yes. The Badgers lost 42-10. They scored a touchdown. It doesn't really matter. But what it does, and I kind of had to reevaluate what this was, given your conversation earlier, Mertzy, this buys the opportunity. No one's given up completely on Braden Locke yet. He's had a good game. He's had this despicable game. He's not the guy moving forward. We know that. But no one is going to blame head coach Luke Fickell for playing him next week against Oregon. He earned that. He also probably would have been benched had that drive not finished in a touchdown. Not benched necessarily, but they would put it like it's garbage time. It's officially over.
Yeah.
Bring in Matt Tower, whoever it is. Now you don't have to put out a guy for his first game against a behemoth that is Oregon. Oregon is going to come after the quarterback, and it's going to be brutal. So, because Braden Locke went out and threw a touchdown pass, he drove well. I think there's a good chance that we'll see him again next week, and we don't have to end the career of Mayberry.
One small correction for you, because I think this is the silver lining out of this game, is that the Badgers don't have a game next week.
Yes, my apologies. Bye week.
You got 2 weeks to sit and stew and bounce back from this one.
What's the difference between bye week or what's it called when it's not bye week blues? It's like the bye week woos.
I don't know, man, but I love the optimism on your part and just trying to find some kind of silver lining out of this game. It was horrific. It was horrific.
It was shocking. What was your drive of the game, Mertzy?
Yeah, I mean, so my drive of the game is the one that came. It was the third quarter, the killer drive. I would call this just the one where you knew it was over. Was the 10-play, 86-yard drive for Iowa, all running plays. That's
9,
that's
4,
what you just
3,
want to.
14, 7, 19, 2, 12, 7, 9, touchdown.
And it was the 18th rushing TD of the year for a man, Caleb Johnson, who's obviously dynamic. He's the second best running. Can we call him the second best running back in the country?
Statistically, he certainly is.
Yeah. So I mean, nothing to be ashamed of there. But that was just a sign of I was like, I'm gonna impose my will on you at this point. I'm just gonna stomp on your neck, and we're gonna go up 21-3, and this ball game's gonna be over.
It also
Johnson the middle. Johnson kept his footing. Touchdown. Caleb, the killer, finishes the drive in style.
Killer. Absolute killer.
He's it's weird to feel like in my lifetime it hasn't happened a whole lot. It feels weird to have the opposing team just outrun us. Outrunning back. Like the run scheme, the run plays, the running back themselves, all above the Badgers.
Yeah, 329 yards, rushing yards, as we noted before. I was trying to do a little quick research on the last time that the Badgers gave up that many. I saw 320 against Michigan in 2018. That's as far back as I could go on quick reference, but it does not happen very often.
No. On the bright side, since I'm feeling rosy
He's Mr. Brightside.
At 10:34 p.m. on a Saturday as the Badgers get their butts kicked, we held him under his season average. I believe coming into this game, Caleb Johnson was averaging 144 yards a game. He only had 135.
How about that? See? Look at you. But go down the list. And the thing was, that this is what was telling to me too. I mean, Iowa, and you guys like the word that I used before, so I'll use it. Iowa has some sudden running backs. Like those guys are quick. They're decisive. They find. All they're looking for is a little bit of crease. They know what they're looking for. They find that crease, and they go. So Caleb had his 135. Kamari Moulton, 9 for 74.
That's...
Jay-Z Patterson, 10 for 56. It was like whoever they put back there was just running roughshod over this Badgers defense.
It was really tough to see.
6.1 yards per carry.
As a team?
Yeah, as a team for Iowa. I will say Caleb Johnson held him to 5.6. There we go. That Coors Light silver lining.
844-770-3776 is your way into the show. We've got the talk and text line on the YouTube channel is blowing up. Billy Bob, I don't know who Billy Bob is. This team is too soft. Longo needs to go. And if Fickell won't fire him, fire Fickell. I still stand by that the Wisconsin Badgers need to give Fickell more time to get his guys in place. I don't think that we're giving – I genuinely think that we're not giving enough credit to – and that sounds weird to say, but credit to how low this team was on talent. It feels like this team, those long games that feels like we're competing with good teams, to me that says that they're coming in fired up and they're playing near their ceiling, but they can't maintain that for the whole game. That's something that a higher level recruit, more talent, more energy, more ability, you'll hang in there, right? And we see it with these good teams across college football all the time where it's close. They've got the Ohio State, Penn State highlights up here right now. And Ohio State has more talent. And when push comes to shove at the end of the game, they can dig deeper. They're better athletes and they just know ball better. And that's how they win. And the Badgers don't have that. So I don't know if we can really say that this is Fickell's fault. This game is Fickell's fault for sure. There's no doubt about it. But the course of the season, that's how I've felt about that.
I hear what you're saying. And I, like the fact of the matter is that you dug deep and you invested a lot of money and energy and time into this departure from what you've done historically. You had kind of like the de facto easy choice. You could have gone with Jim Leonhard. You could have said, hey, we're going to continue hanging our hat on what we've done. When you make this kind of sea change in terms of what you expect out of your program, like you have to kind of ride it out. You do. If they were losing every game, to your point, if they were getting destroyed last week by Penn State, if they were losing games like that in just embarrassing ways, embarrassing fashions, then you have that conversation. This is interesting to me today because I was like, wait, 42-10. I've heard that score before. The Alabama game.
Yep.
Tale of two 42-10s in my mind, right? So you look at that game, and it's 14-3 going into halftime. Could
have been 14-10. I mean,
could have been 14-10. There was a throw to the end zone just out of the reach of the receiver. You miss a field goal. Could have been 14-6. Alabama, quick two-strike, two-play drive to just put the dagger in. But, there was a game where you're like, okay, they played with them for a long time. They hung with them for a long time. Penn State last weekend. Good. This game, it was like it was done. It was done really early, and you could just tell there was nothing that the Badgers had to respond to. And that's troubling to me. I think that's why this game has been so devastating to watch. You're like, I did not see this coming. I did not see them not having a better effort game and a better discipline game and just a better mindset game going into Iowa.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing, right? Like you feel like this is this is the team in the Big Ten. I just went through and I thought about like where teams in the Big Ten stand, and it's Oregon and OSU. Those two are like clearly in their own realm.
Yep.
Penn State, feels like it's in their own realm alone. As
Where's
just
Indiana?
Almost,
Where's Indiana now?
I was like thinking about it. I've got it. 1, 2, 3. Oregon, OSU, Penn State, OSU and Oregon interchangeable. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Next tier, Indiana and Iowa alone. It feels like that's just what it is. And then we have another split. And after today, you got to say, Minnesota is right there with Illinois, USC, Wisconsin. Wisconsin maybe not even a top 10 team right now in the Big Ten. After this in the rankings, they certainly won't be.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not?
I mean,
even if they're top 10, it doesn't mean much.
Yeah,
the
right.
schlock at the bottom.
That's why
I was just looking at this, and it's like, ew.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like a tie for,
They're not even a part of the Big Ten.
Tie for 15th.
Yeah. It's...
There's a huge drop-off. All right,
844-770-3776. We got tweets of the game coming up next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday, presented by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Black Friday is Cash Friday at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. On Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m., 18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion. And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize. Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day, and we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth $25 in rewards play. Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at
The Jones family has its rules, just like any other family. Only difference is, ours are about making the best tasting, highest quality breakfast sausage you can buy. One of our rules, we only use all natural ingredients. It's a mandate we've followed since the 1840s, and we'll continue to do so for generations to come. Right here in Fort Atkinson. I'm Philip Jones. To learn more about the rules that make sure my family provides your family with the best tasting, highest quality breakfast sausage, visit jonesdairyfarm.com.
Your warehouse concrete floors see a lot of traffic. Uneven, sinking, or cracked concrete can pose a serious threat to any business operation. From trip hazards to cracked foundations, sinking concrete can keep any business owner up at night. Concrete Lifting Technologies is here to help. Concrete Lifting Technologies can even out that concrete floor to prevent these hazards. They can level your warehouse floor within a few hours and don't even need to shut down your operations. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today. That's itaintmudjack.com.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
I think I've played through some pretty significant injuries in my day, but maybe never more so than today. I've got a back like you would not believe. I am today, for the first time in my career, sitting on a cushion, and I have a bag of ice behind my back, and it is delightful. I'm also working on 2 Advil and 2 extra-strength Tylenol, which by my standards is drugged up.
Greeny, weekdays noon to 2 on 100.5 ESPN.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Josh Gavel is the service manager with Kirsch Appliance. Josh, your company acquired document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Why?
I think at the time we had an older printer and just things come up when you get older equipment.
Yeah, things like your older printer that didn't always work when you clicked print. And now with a new printer and service from James Imaging Systems,
things happen, they can come out and fix it and leave us to what we're needing to do.
James Imaging Systems, helping local Wisconsin businesses move forward with less stress, more peace of mind.
You get somebody that knows what they're doing, come in here and get it done in 5 minutes, and we're not having to take our time to do it.
Josh, your advice for local businesses?
I'd recommend James Imaging.
For less stress and more peace of mind, make the switch to document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Football Sunday on ESPN Radio. While the Chicago Bears are undefeated at home, they're winless on the road. And this week they travel to Arizona to face Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. The Bears at the Cardinals. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern on select ESPN radio stations.
That was Wisconsin's only highlight today. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Adam Mertz. The Badgers lose in absolutely despicable fashion, 42-10, and the fire Longo and fire Gravatt chants in the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube chat.
How's it feel to be lumped in?
Man, I think I'm having a better game than the Badgers did today, but maybe not. I'll be enjoying a Pepsi, a proud partner of the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin football player Hunter Wohler gets game day ready with Pepsi, and you should too. Try Pepsi Zero Sugar, the perfect drink for your tailgate party and as a tasty mixer. Now, Raul, I think, in the talk and text line for the YouTube chat has been blowing it up. He is not a fan of Locke, and he thinks that as a Texan, he has a better idea, that we should be getting rid of Locke and starting Mabry. And also that he prefers sunshine any day of the week. And if he were a true fan of football, he would know that I resemble Sunshine from Remember the Titans. and so I'll take the compliment, my friend.
That is neat.
But it's time to get to tweets of the game.
Fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
Let's see what the trolls were saying. Here are today's tweets of the game on ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
Yeah, guys, I don't even think we need to go deep into the trolls for this one. Actually, Badgers football kind of said it themselves. Their third quarter update, they decided to actually post this on Twitter for some reason. You see it on the ESPN Madison, ESPN Milwaukee YouTube stream right now. After the third, Wisconsin 3, Iowa 28. Kind of says it all. Lowercase, all in after the third, by the way, for Badgers football. By the way, that tweet, not doing so well. 61 likes, 85 comments.
85 comments isn't bad.
Are they shredding it?
Oh, yeah, I don't think the comments are very good, though. I don't think those are good comments, if I had to guess. But anyways.
What are we doing?
Well, I mean, hey, it says it all. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, that feels like a good summation of how the game felt.
Wait, and prime time, talk about this. This is the marketing arm of UW football putting that out. Like,
yes.
They're not even trying to, like, sugarcoat. They're not trying to add some perspective.
What are you sugarcoating at that point?
I mean, I get it.
28-3, maybe pull off a New England Patriots. Is Tom Brady coming out of the stands?
Yeah, you could have. See, you could have written that.
Can I just say, I'm so mad. Like, that's the best Super Bowl ever. I'm so mad that it was Tom Brady. I remember watching that in my dorm room and just being like, it was 28-3. They scored the first touchdown, 28-10. I was like, no. I was so mad that happened to, like, not like a fun underdog. It was like, of course it's Tom Brady. It'd be like if we got that lead and all of a sudden Ohio State just trounced us. Make me upset.
Well, Mark Tauscher of the Badgers Radio Network also likely very upset. Also the host of Willie and Tausch 9 to noon here on ESPN Wisconsin. Apparently, as we saw on the broadcast, it was a pretty rainy, cold night in that second half, and old Tausch left his raincoat in the car as just another reminder of a really tough night in Iowa City for old T. And do you see his image that he took on his tweet when he posted this? And it is just pouring rain there at Kinnick Stadium.
Yeah, it looked nasty in the second half.
I thought for a moment when that rain, like when they said on the radio broadcast, it's rainy, it's getting sloppy, just like we thought it was going to. Mm-hmm. I thought that could be the energizer for Wisconsin. Like we fight through that more. It's worse here. It stinks. It's so like dreary and ugly weather. That's what Wisconsin football's about. A lot of these kids played in it growing up, and then they just go out there and fall flat.
Well, another time we've seen pretty disgusting weather at times is in the Pinstripe Bowl. Faion Hicks, former Badgers cornerback, tweeted out, I I thought we were a better team than that. That game, at the very least, should have been a physical dogfight. Them boys' bowl game might be in New York this year, implying that they'd get the Pinstripe Bowl, the ACC Big Ten matchup in Yankee Stadium. John Torchio, former standout safety for the Badgers. Hey, chill on the Pinstripe Bowl, man. And then just the laughing emoji.
Didn't the Badgers break the Pinstripe Bowl?
They break it?
Yeah, I thought was
No, the Mayo.
The
Mayo
Duke's Mayo trophy.
Yeah, that was
No.
a Graham Mertz special.
The Pinstripe, do they have a trophy? They just have cool hats they give out, actually.
Yeah.
It's brought to you.
You get a suit.
Oh, that would be actually pretty cool.
A pinstripe suit.
You get a Yankees outfit. George Steinbrenner comes and shakes your hand.
Yeah,
shaves
there's
your
a
face.
Yes, a single razor blade shave. It's no shave November, so they'll have plenty to shave off at that point. Yes, there is a Pinstripe Bowl. It looks pretty cool.
And so
a trophy.
Oh yes, the trophy.
And so Fan Hicks is like still projecting a bowl berth for the Badgers.
Essentially, yeah. And it seems like John Torchio feels like, hey man, let's not get
chill.
ahead of ourselves.
Listen, I think that it's I think it's an overreaction to say the Badgers can't win another game or two. Like there are 2 winnable games left on the docket.
For sure.
They can. It's just, do you feel good about it?
I feel good about Nebraska right now. Nebraska's really fallen off. I still feel good about it.
But that's also, what is that, 3 weeks from now? Nebraska could figure it out between now and then.
And that'll be after a smackdown.
Look
for
at
the
how-
Ducks.
Look at how quickly it changed for the Badgers.
Right.
Listen, is this a change or is this a bad game? Bad teams lose like this. There's no way around it, right? You're not consistently a good team. But we've seen the Badgers play at a ceiling that's pretty impressive.
I mean, college football is weird this year. I will say, college football is really weird this year. Stranger things have happened. It could be the aberration that you were talking about. It has been an aberration from what you've seen out of this team so far. My concern is like, you know, is it the start of a trend rather than this was the first 50-50 game that you're seeing sort of the true colors? Like, they're going to have to reverse this over those last 2 games of the season to make me feel a lot different about what happened here.
All right, Nebraska won by 18 over Purdue, which is okay. 7 over Rutgers. They got blown out 56-7 against Indiana. They they lost a really impressive game against Ohio State, in which Ohio State threw 3 early interceptions.
Yeah, which was a look-ahead game now in retrospect.
And then they lost to UCLA today. I believe that they're not that good. Now, if they go out there and dominate USC, we can talk. But until then, I still feel good about that.
Fair.
But yeah, okay, listen. So we'll go to break now. But I want to, when we get back, let's talk a little bit more about the state of the Big Ten and where the Badgers fall in it. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Big Ten boneless wing bundle for only $15.99. Enjoy 16 crispy boneless wings in 2 different flavors, 2 dipping sauces, and a double order of fries. It's perfect. It's a perfect bundle for game day, family night, or any tailgate party. Order now on Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at metrofordofmadison.com. That's metrofordofmadison.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You thought Russell Wilson would be great in Pittsburgh. So go ahead, take your little victory lap this morning.
He's not great yet. He's been great thus far, right? He's been great thus far, and I think that what he has done is totally make himself regular, everyday guy as much as he can.
Well, he's still putting out hype videos.
Right, as much as he can. Right, as much as
But at least
it's
not a
tagline.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. a trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the PAC's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the PAC. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and football season is back, and you know I'm watching every snap with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in my hand. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. You make picks for your pick'em entry and choose if a player will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 2.5 touchdown passes, or even Tyreek Hill lower than 150 receiving yards. Over 1 million fans got in on the action last season, and it is time for you to jump aboard. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app at UnderdogFantasy.com or sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Join me this football season and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
The fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne. I toasted you, said, honey, we may be through, and you'll never hear me complain.
'Cause I got friends in low places. They're the Wisconsin Badgers, 42-10. They lose to the Iowa Hawkeyes. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Adam Mertz. Don't let your sidewalk get flagged for unnecessary roughness. Let Concrete Lifting Technologies level your uneven cracked pavement and save the work of replacing it. Raise your game and raise your concrete. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today, and that's itaintmudjack.com. And off air, we were talking a little bit, and you seem really bullish on this, Mertzy, so I'll let you take it away. When was the last time you felt confident in the Wisconsin Badgers football program?
Yeah, and like in a truly good sense, not just like, oh, that was nice. I appreciated that, or like, ooh, kind of cool. Like,
okay, wait,
maybe we're heading in the right direction. Like,
I think I need you to
fired up.
I need you to defend that. What does that mean? What is it? That's nice. What is that for you? Have we seen that this year?
Yeah. Like, the Rutgers, a win over Rutgers team that you thought, oh, that might be a 50-50 game. And they go out and dominate a Rutgers team that clearly is not very good at this point. We have enough of a sample size now. We're like, okay, whatever we saw at Rutgers earlier in the year, that's nothing.
So I'm a homer in this situation.
Okay.
Okay. In the NFL football world, I think I know a little bit more. I think I'm a little bit more hesitant, and I see the larger picture.
Yeah.
In college football, I don't have the same data set, we'll say.
Okay.
So for me, after, some tough losses and waiting to see if Braden Locke can figure it out, we see a Purdue game where he goes out and lights it up. I mean, it's just nonstop action. It's excellent. And then Rutgers, who's supposed to be this team that's up and coming and really good, you see the Badgers go out and stomp them too. That, I would say, really made me feel confident in what this team is capable of, and maybe why I'm a little less doomsday today, despite thinking that this game was absolutely brutal. And, ESPN Madison poll question. 90% of people think that this is the most embarrassing loss for the Wisconsin Badgers under Luke Fickell.
And there's some good competition for that. Like going back to like Northwestern in Indiana from last year, and not the Indiana of 2024, by the way.
So when was the last time you felt confident?
So I had to look back through the game logs of the past few years, and I had to go all the way back to, what's the date? October 23rd of 2020. My illegitimate nephew, Graham Mertz, throwing for 5 touchdowns in an empty Camp Randall in the middle of COVID against Illinois. And you're thinking,
Patrick Mahomes tweeted about him.
Patrick Mahomes tweeted about him that night.
Crazy.
But the fellow Kansas City guy. And you're thinking, finally, the promised land quarterback that the Badgers have been waiting for forever to complete the puzzle of what was just discussed before by Scott Dochterman from Iowa, longtime Iowa writer. They got all the other pieces. All they needed was that 4 or 5-star quarterback to come in and complete the puzzle. And you're like, yes. And I'm not related to him, but he's got a cool last name. So
I have
that is neat.
Incidentally called you Graham Mertz once.
Yeah, I mean, it pops up. I still have some of his gear. I keep that around as a keepsake.
I heard he was just the biggest tool. We went to school together, and it's tough.
Yeah,
it was tough.
So that's where I have to go back. That's 4 years ago, and that was like a different coach, a different system. I've just not been real fired up, and I feel like there's been so many gut punches since then to Badgers fans, and so much wishing for the past and thinking you're like grasping at shadows of what this program used to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I remember I was in school. I got really excited too, and then that entire season just was so weird up and down. And I think he went out with COVID at one point.
He had COVID.
He got a concussion.
Next day, basically.
It was brutal.
Or next week. Next day.
And then there was later on in the season, a game was canceled because of an outbreak. So, and it never looked the same. Now he has been doing better in a different program. So be it. I think if you're going to take away the Rutgers game from me, which I think is really fair too, if I'm going to be honest, it's before I went to UW. I was on my way in. I applied. I was hanging out with some buddies here in town, and I watched the Badgers lose just so horrendously to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, despite having a great season. And it was one of those things where, that season I was bought in. I thought that it was really exciting.
Are you saying the 2019 season?
That would have been
the Rose Bowl season.
No, it was before that.
Which lost to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? Are we talking
Specify.
about? Oh, 2017.
2017's the one
when they lost with Hornibrook, and then won the Orange Bowl though.
That
was a great season.
And like they had the ball with a chance at the end of that game against Ohio State.
Yeah, and then it ended on a Hornibrook interception, right?
Danny Davis couldn't stay upright.
Yeah. Man, and I remember I took to Facebook. I was not a Twitter guy at that point. I took to Facebook. To say, I like Hornibrook. He's not the guy. And I had a friend who worked for the school. She was one of the athletic trainers, and she just ripped me apart. She's like, "You don't know how much he works. You don't know all the things that he didn't like."
Yeah.
Works on his golf game.
I would really like to have Alex Hornibrook right now.
There's a lot of There's a lot of quarterbacks from Wisconsin past who I'd like to have right
Seriously.
now. Yeah. If I'm picking one game where I felt truly good, like you said, Mertzy, I think of the week after that Illinois Graham Mertz come out game. The weekend after, they go to Michigan. Graham Mertz doesn't even play. Didn't matter. They ran all over Michigan in that game. I think Jalen Berger, remember that name?
I loved him.
I believe he ran for something like 150 yards. The Badgers cruised past Michigan 49-11.
Yep.
I mean, it was a true ass kicking. Like tonight's game felt like an ass kicking. The Badgers
in Ann Arbor.
The Badgers 51 carries, 341 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah.
54 carries, 341 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground.
Man, JT was fun. That was JT, right?
That's Jalen Berger.
Oh, that was Berger all
That's
through?
the crazy part.
This is the season after JT. And then I think about truly since that game, like how different the two programs have felt going forward. Michigan, by the end of the year, you thought Harbaugh was over. You thought he was getting fired.
Yeah, they canceled the Ohio State game.
You thought they were canning the khakis.
They begged it.
Yes. And then since then, the Badgers have just been stuck in the mud. Obviously, going on to have a terrible 2020 season. 2021 is salvageable. Braylon Allen come out season, and lost some really tough games, had a solid season, won the Vegas Bowl. I stayed up till 1:30 to watch that for some reason. But since then, it's just been 2022, 2023, now 2024. It's just lost season after lost season after lost season.
You need to stay bowl game eligible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It means a lot, yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. Like, it is a tradition of winning. And I'm not like a big tradition guy. I kind of am, I guess. I really like, I always have to watch Young Frankenstein before Halloween. And this year I didn't do it. And I don't know what to do with myself. So I think I'm probably going to watch it tonight. What?
I need origin story on that. How'd that start?
Oh, just my mom loved the movie. And so I watched it every year. And then I went to college and it was the movie that I stole from her. So I had it. And that and she insists that I stole The Princess Bride, which I did not. Either that or I lost it immediately. But I don't lose that many things. So
stole like literally DVD.
Yes.
I thought you meant like ownership and like authorization to watch. Like, this is my movie now. Mom, you're not getting it. But no, you had the actual physical DVD.
Absolutely. Well, I had the Xbox that I could just like put with the disc reader, so I would watch it.
I love it.
And yeah, so I have my little traditions, but like I'm not a huge tradition guy, but the tradition of winning here is notable, and I feel like it's rooted in that. And to lose that would feel like you lose a piece of your identity as a Wisconsin Badger fan.
Well, and talk about the practical aspects of that, like we've said many times. And it sounds like so pathetic at this point to be like, oh gosh, I hope the Badgers are bowl eligible. But it gives you 4 more weeks of practice, 4 more years of development for these young guys. Gives you a stage to put your program on, a nice little warm destination to finish a year on, a chance to reset. There's just a lot of perks for the program beyond just a reputation thing. There's actual physical development of players that are going on there.
And that's so important specifically this year with Luke Fickell's guys in-house, right? They're not all starting, and they shouldn't all start. But getting those extra reps is...
Think about what you'd lose if you're not bowl eligible.
And then not only that, but it is such a big recruiting piece. It's such a big part of the pride of the players here. Someone could leave. I totally believe that.
I mean, and I will say this: like, the streak matters in terms of showing like this has been a consistent program for more than 2 decades. Like, 2002, 2001 was the last season that the Badgers did not go to a bowl. They're 5-7 that year. That was the last time. 2001. You were what, 5?
4.
4.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
And someone in the comment section, along with saying that I'm smoking drugs, had something to say about this. Get this hippie with a haircut. That's Raul's really coming after me. I think he's really hurting. But I mean,
hurt people.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot to hang your hat on. Assuming I want to cover my hair ever with this Badgers bowl game program, and it's so much fun. But we're gonna just bring it back here a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about the greater Big Ten because it talks about who we're recruiting against. And right now, the Badgers are 1-4. Yeah, 1-4 in the last 5 matchups against Iowa. If you're a potential player thinking, okay, I can go play offensive lineman for the Iowa Hawkeyes, or defensive lineman for the Iowa Hawkeyes or Wisconsin Badgers, what is the Wisconsin Badgers' claim to say you come here instead of there?
So this is an interesting discussion because I want you to correct me if I'm wrong on this. Historically, despite these programs playing the same styles, being in the same geographic area, like back-to-back states, I don't feel like they've recruited the same. They don't go against each other that often in the recruiting battle, which is really interesting to me.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
Iowa has
prime time.
Prime time? Tell me if I'm wrong on that, but I feel like there are a few positions that they are going after, like a Nate Stanley that was a QB from Wisconsin. But the line on both sides of the ball, I feel like they're
I think both states produce enough offensive linemen where they don't really compete for each other for a lot of those. I think they both get guys from Florida. So
in that sense.
But that's the state of Florida. Everyone gets players from there. I think the Badgers recruit a little more out East Coast traditionally, and now especially with Fickell, it's Ohio heavy. Ohio, Pennsylvania is where they're trying to really carve out a niche. Whereas I think Iowa's going to stick to the Midwest Big Ten roots more than anything.
I can actually tell you, I do the show every Monday night with Barry Alvarez, right? Coach Barry Alvarez. He had his roots there. That's where he started as a high school football coach. He went on a nice long soliloquy, not necessarily that long, but about his roots. And he brought a 1-11 team to state champion in 3 years, and then he was a coach at Iowa, and then he came here. And he talks about it all the time about like how important it was for him to have his roots there because he could go get the big guys. And they did all the time, and it was great. And I understand why. Because they're similar folks to the people of Wisconsin. And if you can go get the best players there and bring them in, then of course we're going to be better. And so, maybe they're not necessarily going up against each other all the time, but because of the geographic similarities, they're going to sometimes be recruiting the same person. And if there's a running back, I don't know if it necessarily has to be the lineman, but if it's a running back or a cornerback right now, it would be hard to sell Wisconsin over Iowa given the current circumstances. Or I could see that conversation being had.
Correct. I was just researching the Iowa roster real quick. It is very Iowa heavy. There are some, they dip into Florida. There's even a California. What they used to do was going to Texas a lot because Hayden Fry had all the Texas connections there, and that's where they draw a lot of their skill talent. I'm not seeing too much of that. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about but I think where you started this is reputation of the program. And at this point, what are you selling? Are you selling something that's established that you know what you're going to get? Or are you selling blue sky, essentially, right now as Luke Fickell? And here's where we're headed. And I'm going to give you this opportunity to be part of something new and different and fresh. Iowa's a good sell. You know what you're going to get. Are you going to reach the mountaintop with Iowa?
No. And I think that's what we're going to hold.
That's what you got.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about that coming up next. ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday is presented by Coors Light. When you need refreshment on game day, choose a beer that's as cold as the Rockies. Cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do, primetime.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, to steal a Taushism, Colorado. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, service, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Pizza Hut's wings are the best thing to happen to pizza night since, well, pizza. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Big Boneless Wing Bundle. For only $15.99, enjoy 16 crispy boneless wings in 2 different flavors, 2 dipping sauces, and a double order of fries. The wings are sauced and tossed to perfection and available in 9 flavors like honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and sweet chili. It's the perfect bundle for game days, girls' nights, family night, or any tailgate party. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Looking to get away this winter? Well, now's your chance. Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. Our friends at Coors Light are giving away a Florida experience this December, and you could win. This trip for two includes a travel and hotel voucher, club-level tickets to the Boca Bowl on Wednesday, December 18th, and exclusive access to events surrounding the Boca Bowl. All you have to do is order an ice-cold Coors Light and scan the QR code at any of the following locations: Pooley's, Tanner's, Draft House, and Paoli Pub. Coors Light. Enjoy responsibly.
I was rolling my rig on a Crescent City run with my hands on the wheel looking into the sun. With a flash, I became temporarily blind by a plate glass truck I was tailing behind. Next thing I know, I'm in the side of a ditch with a bent rear wheel and a broken off hitch. But I was hauling again in just a short while, 'cause Truckstar Collision is on my speed dial. Do you operate a fleet, whether it's heavy-duty 18-wheelers or medium-duty delivery vans? And does vehicle downtime make you cringe? Time is money, and a fleet vehicle on the sideline hurts, because you need your fleet to be up and running 100% of the time. If one of your heavy or medium-duty fleet vehicles is out of commission, Truckstar Collision Center in Deerfield will get it back on the road quickly. Since Truckstar is a full-service facility, the complete repair is done in-house, saving you time and money. And remember, they're able to repair both heavy and medium-duty vehicles. Truckstar Collision Center, minutes off I-94 in Deerfield. Call 888-400-1002 or log on to truckstarcollision.com.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
You've got me seeing stars brighter than ever, shining just like diamonds do. I know that in time it could be all ours.
It is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light, live from the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Save money and save the planet. Ditch the energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar, your local solar energy company based in Madison. Visit everlightsolar.com to learn more and make the switch today. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Bourbon and Bass on the ESPN Madison YouTube page says the Nebraska game is winnable if the team doesn't quit. And Primetime, you seemed to say that you don't believe that we're quite at the level of the team quitting on Luke Fickell and this organization. Is that how you feel?
No, I don't think that the program's in the state where there's going to be guys quitting at this point. I think there's enough young players where I think everyone's bought in. And I think you got guys like Hunter Wohler who are leaders. He's unfortunately in his last year of eligibility. I wish he could stay forever. Because, I mean, even in tonight's game, he got hurt, came back in, and just kept playing hard. And that pass interference penalty that he got called on him on the final touchdown or second to last touchdown, total BS.
Bad call.
Bad call. But anyways, yes.
A lot of crazy penalties.
I don't think they're in jeopardy of losing the locker room because I don't think they're in the position where it felt like they had to climb their way out of a real hole to get back to bowl eligibility like last year. They just need to win one game over the final three. And that's really what you're selling. And honestly, you're selling beating Nebraska and Minnesota. And you're selling, I hate the idea of just being like playing to have a respectable loss. But honestly, that's what the Oregon game's going to be at this point. And if that's what they're selling, I wouldn't hold a grudge against Luke Fickell for that at this point, considering what Oregon is. Even if it's at Camp Randall. But I don't think that they're in jeopardy of losing the locker room. Maybe like what Mertz said, where if they just continue to play Braden Locke, and if it gets really, really bad against Oregon, and then they start to feel like they're not putting out the guys who are helping them win, that could be the situation where it feels like they could lose the locker room. That to me is absolute catastrophic outcome.
Mertzy?
Yeah, no, and I think you're right, Primetime. I mean, like, this team has shown a lot this season in the way that they've competed until tonight. And so I think that we'll write this off and we'll judge based on I think the effort against Oregon matters. I do. I think I don't want to just say like, oh, that game doesn't count. You got to see them perform and go out there and give it their best game and put something together. But it really is those last two games of the year that it's going to get decided upon. Right. And you got a Nebraska team, and let me just add this because this is a tie back to our last segment conversation. UCLA, I wasn't following this game today. UCLA was up 27-7 on Nebraska in Lincoln. And do you know who had the first touchdown of the game for the Bruins?
I have no clue.
I know exactly who it is.
Tell us.
It's the guy who scored 5 touchdowns on the ground against Michigan. Jalen Berger.
Jalen Berger is still playing college football.
Yeah, went to
and
Michigan
still in the
State,
Big Ten.
Went to Michigan State for, I believe, 2 years, and then obviously their head coach was just removed last year, or they were ahead of last year, and now he went out there. And honestly, they're getting better, but he's not been much of a factor this year. But the fact that he scored in that game is just like tying it all the way back. Yeah, you're right. That's stupid and ridiculous and hilarious.
And where's college football today? Like, think about this for an old guy like me. When there was no player movement anywhere, when if you transferred, you'd have to sit out a year, and you could not transfer inside a conference. And you've got a dude who's transferred twice and has played for 3 Big Ten teams. Mind-boggling.
Wait, where did he come from originally?
Wait, what?
So it was Wisconsin and UCLA.
Michigan State.
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin, Michigan State, UCLA.
Everyone knows the layover in East Lansing. That's how it works. You go to Dane County Regional, you got to go to East Lansing before you get to LA.
You know, the UFA team, the Detroit Mechanics, actually play their games.
Detroit Mechanics.
Yeah, that's their team name. They're the worst team in the league by a ton. The professional ultimate.
I would imagine the Mechanics sound like they have second jobs.
All of us do, bro.
Okay, they sound like they have third jobs. Excuse me.
They actually play in East Lansing, so I'm familiar with the area.
We need more NIL in UFA.
Yeah, absolutely. We do indeed. So if you can help me with that, that would be great.
Okay. Get to your point. You want to go somewhere. And we keep just throwing things in your path.
Well, listen, this is fantastic. So we've talked about a ton of Big Ten teams, and I kind of gave my rankings, right? Like there's the swill at the bottom, which I didn't even name because they're kind of irrelevant at this point. And that ironically does include Washington, in my opinion. They got a good win today, but Washington might sneak up into the middle. Oh. Do you have at least some groups that you can work with in this Big 18 now, Mertzy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put four teams in the top tier.
Okay.
I'm putting 4 in. I'm putting Indiana in.
Wow.
I will talk all day about the schedule they've played, but they are destroying people. Absolutely destroying them. So to me, it's them, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State.
Wait, we talked about this in the break, but I want to break. Do you really think they have a shot in hell against Ohio State?
Yes.
No way.
Absolutely they do.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely they have a shot.
What do you think the spread is on that game?
Is that next week's game? It's not next week,
No,
is it?
it's not next week yet. What's like, give me a projection. Like a computer projection.
Where's the game? Is it in Columbus or is it in
I think it's in Columbus.
If it's in Columbus, it's 9.5 points.
I was going to say.
I would think. Or at least 6.5 at the very least.
I'll be glad to be proven wrong on this. I think that they have a shot in that game.
ESPN's matchup predictor, they don't have a spread, gives Ohio State a 75% chance to win the game.
And do they give any they don't give
no
any points
yet. I think that it's going to be a 28-13 game.
Okay. Would they give Penn State a game?
I think Penn State would be a more reasonable game. Yes, I think that. But I think that there are two teams that are far and away better.
So then it's Oregon and Ohio State.
Yes.
You're saying that's the class.
Yes. Well, today Penn State looked like they hung in there. They had a shot to win.
They had a shot to win.
I think Penn State, maybe can sneak in there, but they until they do it, I don't trust them.
So I think we can argue about that. From there's a pretty big gap to that next year.
Yeah.
That's pretty sizable.
Yeah.
And I'd put Iowa in there. I would put Minnesota in there, and that's it. Of that
Minnesota's in there
next year. I the way that they're playing right now, I'd put them in there.
They barely made a wait. So are we just talking about this season's rankings? This season.
Yes.
Okay, just this season.
What's happening right now?
Just this season right now. I kind of think Illinois is still in that batch.
They got blown out by Oregon.
But it's Oregon.
But Iowa got blown up by Ohio State. Minnesota would get blown out by any real team of the top tier. Of that top tier.
For sure, yeah.
Is that crazy to think Illinois is in that batch yet?
So the batch with who?
Minnesota and Iowa.
I think that's fine. I think if you're going to put Minnesota in there,
I think I would put Iowa above and closer to the Penn State group or tier, if you would, because the way they've been beating some of the teams they've beaten has been impressive.
Because I have Iowa and Indiana as the second tier alone, and then below that is the next squad with Minnesota and Illinois, because I think those two teams are good matchups.
And so then I'm getting into.
So there's a new tier here.
Then there's a lot of tiers. Do I need fewer tiers? Do I need to consolidate?
I'm not going to tell you not to cry.
There's
all
been
right?
a lot of tiers on this postgame show so far.
Well played, Primetime.
Specifically, Rowan in the comments section of the YouTube channel, Raul, who's just been going after me. Anyway.
Man, and then you're getting into the... I hate to just go down the stand. I feel like I'm going down the standings, but I think the standings are pretty fair on this. But let me go the other direction. The only team that I would think maybe is just completely underperforming and is better than what they're showing is USC.
Yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, I think the standings don't lie, actually, in the Big Ten right now.
But this is a perfect way to bring it all the way back to what they were saying in the YouTube comments. If the Badgers don't give up on their team, right, if the locker room doesn't fall apart, then they're still a totally winnable game against Nebraska.
Yes.
USC gave up after they lost to Minnesota. I truly think they did because they looked ugly.
Yeah. That's like an NIL team, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a vintage NIL portal team?
Yeah.
Where they're just like, yeah, okay, we're good. We gave our shot against Penn State. They came back against Penn State, so I will say they showed that.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Is that what the Badgers are becoming? A vintage NIL portal team?
I don't know.
It's kind of what we feel like right now.
I mean,
$15 million being raised.
Definitely in like what they are, like you've talked about with the number of new guys that are in, just like mercenary.
Yeah.
Brought in for a couple of years.
Yeah. And it's worse because their results and the guys they're bringing in aren't panning out whatsoever. It's hard. Tawee Walker's been great this year. Other than that, I can't think of another transfer who's made a huge impact. Not one they got this offseason.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. There's 3 games left.
I know.
I mean, like, for the future of the program. I will say, I think that Purdue, Rutgers, Maryland, UCLA, Northwestern, and Michigan State all fall in the bad ones.
I think
they're
that's
not
fair.
good teams.
Yeah, right.
And we're not there.
No, above that for sure, and above. Well, I don't know. Where's Michigan and Wisconsin? Michigan and Wisconsin are probably.
Michigan still has to be in like that second tier because I know that they're having a down year. They just don't have a quarterback.
If they had a head coach, that's such a big part of it.
Well, they lost their head coach, but I don't necessarily think their current head coach is bad. I think that they are actively playing without a player who can play a certain position. And it's the most important position on the field.
I think Minnesota, Michigan, Washington, Wisconsin, and Nebraska all fall into a very similar category. And that's that they could be winners. And if you want to be a winner, go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Go be a winner at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, the casino with the highest payouts in the area. They're open right now, and they'll stay open until 2 a.m. on Monday. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. More spins, more wins, more fun. We have Flush It or Flesh It coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday Postgame Show presented by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Black Friday is Cash Friday at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. On Friday, November 29th, starting at 5 p.m., 18 winners will each take home a cash prize between $500 and $2,500 in our Cash Friday promotion. And at 8 p.m., one winner will take home the $40,000 grand prize. Plus, November 29th is Ho Chunk Day, and we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests visiting our Rewards Club booth $25 in rewards play. Cash Friday is a holiday tradition at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Liberty Station American Tavern and Smokehouse isn't just a barbecue restaurant. Fish fry, walleye, and vegetarian options are available, and they have a menu that's sure to please everyone. Liberty Station smokes their meats daily with a 1,000-gallon custom smoker, giving you the freshest experience possible. Enjoy happy hour with daily discounts on both food and drinks at their large bar with 20 draft taps and multiple TVs to watch the big game. Be sure to check out their sprawling patio with an indoor and outdoor porch area too. Liberty Station off the Beltline on Rimrock Road.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
The Jones family has its rules, just like any other family. Only difference is, ours are about making the best tasting, highest quality breakfast sausage you can buy. One of our rules, we only use all natural ingredients. It's a mandate we've followed since the 1840s, and we'll continue to do so for generations to come. Right here in Fort Atkinson. I'm Philip Jones. To learn more about the rules that make sure my family provides your family with the best tasting, highest quality breakfast sausage, visit jonesdairyfarm.com.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts?
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
No, listen. If they made our goalposts just a little wider, and why just yellow? It's Green Bay. Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, I get it. You can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want. From durable materials and fold-away hardware to custom colors and ease of maintenance, backed by quality craftsmanship, energy efficiency, and warranties that will last for years.
And this has got to be the Pella Dagger.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 60 months at PellaWI.com. Okay, now I've got popcorn and soda.
Right here.
$22.50, please.
Too bad we can't customize concession prices.
That's it. You got this, partner?
I'm out of here. Hold your appointment on or before November 8th. Certain restrictions apply.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
What is the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea?
Why do you keep saying it like that?
Mediterranean, because that's how I say Mediterranean. How are you supposed to say it?
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean. I
There's
say
T's in
Mediterranean.
there.
I say Mediterranean.
T.
I skip a whole bunch of stuff.
He
That's how I
changes
say
the
it.
T's to D's.
Mediterranean. That's how I say it.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand. From L.A. to Piscataway, this is your college football scoreboard update, driven by Metro Ford of Madison.
Yes, good night, Madison. This is Ryan Wollersheim from ESPN Madison talking to you and giving you the live updates from around the college football world as Sacramento State and Portland State currently locked in a matchup on ESPN Plus, the only game still going on here on this college football Saturday. Currently, Sacramento State actually losing in that contest, just wrapping up by 20 to the Portland State, whatever they are. But looking back around the rest of the Big Ten, Wisconsin obviously falling 42-10 tonight against the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Battle of the Heartland Trophy. The Badgers losing for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons. Then also going on tonight, Louisville taking down number 11 Clemson 33-21, and South Carolina overcoming number 10 Texas A&M 44-20 in Columbia, South Carolina. Then final game in the Big Ten this weekend, Washington taking down USC in Seattle 26-21. The Big Ten is certainly very muddy, and this is a very muddy college football season. We're going to be continuing to talk a little bit more here on ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday's postgame, and then also make sure to tune in to 2 weeks from now when the Badgers take on Oregon, who took down Michigan 38-17 at the Big House earlier today.
Metro Ford of Madison, Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Learn more at metrofordofmadison.com.
How I try, when I try, Lord, I try. I might drink a little, I might smoke a lot, counting down the good times.
ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday rolls on as the Badgers also get rolled on 42-10. Big ol' loss to the Hawkeyes. But you just heard your scoreboard update brought to you by Metro Ford of Madison. It's Madison's trusted Ford dealer. Whether you need to purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford, Metro Ford is the place to go. Visit Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today or go to their website, metrofordofmadison.com, to see this month's specials and browse their inventory. That's metrofordofmadison.com, but it is time for Flush It or Flesh It.
In a moment.
Oh, flush it.
We failed multiple times with bad ideas. I didn't know were bad till I realized they didn't work.
Or flesh it.
Yeah, that's one idea
or we can work as a team.
Brought to you by Gordon Flesh Company. Business, technology, managed. Taking the worry out of your office equipment and IT needs.
All right, guys. Flush it or flesh it. And I'm throwing back to Adam Mertz's guy, Scott Docterman, with this take. Woo! The Badgers made a mistake abandoning their identity when they decided to go to the air raid, dairy raid, whatever you want to call it. Whatever thing that Luke Fickell and Phil Longo have cooked up here in Madison. Cocked up. You could say both, actually. And both would be accurate.
I don't know if
right
you
now.
can on the radio.
I don't know. Anyways, it's too late at night, G. No one's listening. Anyways, they made a mistake by trying to bring in a guy to make the air raid work in Madison, because tonight they showed the Iowa Hawkeyes that the air raid just maybe doesn't work in the Big Ten.
So, this is going to be a total cop-out, but I seriously don't know what it's supposed to look like. I still don't know what it's supposed to look like. So I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know how to judge that properly.
So, like, I think about it a little bit more. Like, the air raid is what you got when you got a pocket passer, a fast running back who catches the ball out of the backfield, in my opinion. You have a couple different styles of wide receiver for guys who can really stretch the field and take...
It's a lot of slots, a lot of over the middle, a lot of getting the ball to guys open in space.
It reminds me, it just sounds like we're rebranding the West Coast style offense a little bit.
It's a little different. West Coast was still very run-heavy based, whereas the air raid, in the true air raid, the pure air raid, that's where you're just throwing the ball essentially to run the ball at times. Like, you're throwing like 3-yard passes as part of the running game.
And that's, it looked like it did today. I think that the Badgers would be suited a little bit better with maybe a West Coast style where you're still spreading the ball out, because I think we've been a little too reluctant to change and progress into this new style of offense. It's sexy. It gets people excited when it works.
Is it sexy?
When it works, absolutely. And you're going to bring in stars who can change the way this franchise looks, who go on to be excellent in the league in more ways than just offensive linemen and running backs, which admittedly might not be the flashiest. Like, people don't know about Wisconsin. I think if you can pull it off, you can put Wisconsin on the map. And Phil Longo ran the ball 50% of the time in his career up to this point. So I think we're just having those growing pains. I don't think it's quite a failure yet.
All right, here's my thing. I'm going back to what I was talking about. Like, you gave a good description, Primetime, of what I thought that I would see out of this. What I saw last year was all these throws to the perimeter that were for 3-5 yards. It was pretty boring, to be real honest. And they didn't have any downfield threat.
It was stagnant.
It was very stagnant. This year, you saw a lot of going deep, like throwing the ball deep.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like there's been any rhythm. I feel like he's just searching and scrambling for anything that works now.
That's what I hate about the air raid, personally. It just feels like it's an offense where it's made to just lead to so many 3-and-outs. And they had so many. In the first half, it was 4 straight 3-and-outs after their first drive. And that's just what happens. It's an offense that doesn't befit or lead to any rhythm, like you said.
I think that it's more so than the air raid doesn't work, because you've seen it. It works in other places. More than that, it's a coach not coaching to the team that he has, not playing the calls or calling the plays that work best for his unit.
And okay, so like all this said, in fairness to the system, neither year has he had the person throwing the ball who wanted to throw the ball.
Yeah,
true.
And like, you look at what I thought, okay, here's my best representation, was the bowl game last year against LSU. I'm like, if this is what it's supposed to look like, I like what I'm seeing. I thought Tanner Mordecai was playing really well. He was spreading the ball around. He was hitting intermediate passes and like really had LSU on its heels for a lot of the game.
Yeah. So I guess we fleshed it. If you'd like your take flushed out, drop it in the YouTube chat. You've been active all night. I'd love to hear from you.
They've been flushing you, G.
Well, it's just been Raul. Raul's been coming after my hair. No, we
Is
lost.
he going to bed?
We
Did Raul
lost
go to bed?
3 people. So our Texan is out. But the last thing you said, Wisconsin will be lucky if they make the Detroit Bowl against a MAC team, which flush it. You're too negative, Raul.
The Detroit
you
Bowl?
said you like sunshine. I don't believe it.
I believe it's called the Quicken Lanes Bowl, and it's very sunny inside of Ford Field, Raul. It's very bright.
It's always sunny in Detroit.
Speaking of East Coast or Eastern time zone. I think when I look at the Badgers program, and we just got done talking about the tiers and where teams rank this season, but from a larger program overhead view, I just don't think that even with Luke Fickell or even at Wisconsin's best possible outcome, I don't think they can ever get above another program like Penn State. I don't think they can ever get above being maybe 1B in the Big Ten, but likely more so like top or middle of tier 2. I don't think they ever reach the threshold of getting to the tier 1 that I think some Badgers fans were expecting when Luke Fickell got hired, that they'd be competing with the likes of Ohio State and Michigan at the top of the conference. Flush it or flush it.
I'll let you go, but I almost want to flush it because I think you can. I think that to say that it's impossible. I believe anything's possible. So I'll flush it out a little bit. I guess I want to say flush it but I'll flush it out. No, I think you have one of the biggest names in college football at the helm of your program, and even though he's struggling right now, that'll get some traction. They're trying.
Is he still one of the top names in college football? Does he still carry that weight?
It's not completely out of the question yet. If next year the Badgers, I don't know exactly who we have as schedule.
It's a rough schedule.
They got Alabama again.
It's a rough schedule.
Let me pull this up.
It's a lot of the same thing except flipped.
What do you think, Mertzy?
Hang on. Reset. It's late.
Reset is that I don't think the Badgers ceiling is being Penn State, possibly.
So I will say no. No on a one-season basis. Yes on a recurring basis. Now, I see too many things happen where the stars line up for certain programs in certain years, and where Penn State or an Ohio State or a Michigan would lose its starting quarterback or something along those lines. Football's weird, man. One season where you can break through. Thinking back to 2017 for Wisconsin, where stuff lined up correctly. You had Alex Hornibrook at quarterback, not a game breaker by any means. When he was good, he managed the offense well, stayed away from turnovers, was just kind of consistent, that kind of thing. I mean, there were some good teams or some good programs then, but the Badgers had just the right things lined up for them, including the schedule, to make a real nice run and almost get to the college football playoff. So on a one-year basis, I think that a team like the Badgers can compete in that upper echelon. Overall, you're right. The Penn State and the Ohio State and the Michigan, they're going to be drawing from a different reservoir of player, of NIL, especially in the era of NIL.
NIL, that's the big question mark, is where's Wisconsin's NIL? How does it compare against those programs? But I do think Penn State is a good watermark where they could get on even footing with Penn State. I think that, especially with the James Franklin's Penn State has been the past 8 years. I think they could get to that level. I just don't see them getting to what Michigan was the previous 3 seasons before this and what Ohio State's been forever.
Yeah.
I just don't think they ever break to that territory.
I think there's a 1 or 2 off-season sort of situation where it can happen. And
one or two?
Yeah, absolutely. Where you get the guy in at wide or quarterback.
But I'm also talking. I'm not
You're
saying
not saying
about
1 to 2 seasons from now. You're saying 1 or 2 seasons where you could do that.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
2 years from now. Well, I'm not saying it's 100% of the question. Let's say Mayberry Mettauer shows out and he actually is the guy. And I'm looking at our schedule next year: Illinois, Iowa.
But hold on, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. You're completely misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying as a program, the depth and the actual structure and infrastructure of the program can get to what Ohio State or Michigan's are. I just don't think there's that much. I don't think the floor or the ceiling is high enough for the Badgers to be that, where they are in the tier with the Bamas and the Oregons and the Georgias. I just don't think that's ever achievable for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What do you think? Are you still holding on hope?
You're still holding on hope. I would need to see it happen, but they were really good for a while with Coach Alvarez. I think Penn State's doable. To say Ohio State is probably not in the cards.
All right, can I follow up with one more question then to fully flesh this out? Should Badger fans be happy with that? Should they feel satisfied that if they get to Penn State, if Luke Fickell makes them what Penn State has been with James Franklin over the last 10 years, that is achieving exactly what he set out to do?
That's not achieving exactly what he set out to do.
Why not?
It's not. Because he said a national championship.
What,
That's
a national
the goal.
championship winning or playing in a college football playoff?
The college football playoff is different now. I expect that he will fail if he does not get the Badgers into the college football playoffs.
By when?
2 years? 3 years?
2 years? Wait,
top 12 teams?
Into the playoffs, not to the championship.
No. Just a playoff team in 2-3 years. It'll be all his recruits. He will have $15 million in NIL. I don't see
26 season. You're saying the 26 season.
Yeah, I don't know who they're playing. If they have a crazy schedule that year, then maybe. But he said that was the goal. If you're gonna bring in all your guys, if you're gonna change everything, why not?
Because it's not possible.
If he can't do it,
okay. Yeah, 26. I actually feel okay about that.
Who's on the record?
You got Pitt at home. You do have Notre Dame at Lambeau. You're at Iowa. You're at Penn State. However, that's it. You get USC at home. But
that's beatable.
Yeah.
I love how we're talking about the 2026 USC team like we have any idea who's
I know,
on that.
I know.
Okay, but USC has been so transcendently great for so long. They're incredible. Are they at the level of Penn State?
I would say at their best, that's what they are. I don't think they get even to the level of what Ohio State or Michigan have been the last 4 years.
What are the questions going on right now in LA around Lincoln Riley and USC?
Oh, there's not a lot of satisfaction.
Think about the heat here.
Yeah.
And what Lincoln Riley can and should be under.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's truly that much heat here.
Here? Oh, okay.
Here. I yes, there are Twitter trolls, and yes, our dude Raul is down with Fickell, whatever, but I don't think so. Okay, really quick. L Stonewall in the chat asks, or says, we'll be lucky if we win the Axe. Flush it or flush it?
We can flush that. Lucky. And from the sense of we'll be lucky because it's not shaping up well against Minnesota. I don't know, man. Recency bias, I say no.
I still think that Minnesota's a beatable game, right? That
it should be a winnable game.
You have to continue to have benchmark games, and right now they're still in the realm of we are a middle team. We have clearly decimated the teams at the bottom of the Big Ten. We belong in that conversation.
I would say, if I were just to guess, hazard a guess, put a win percentage on it, I would say, though, that's a 42%.
I believe coming into tonight, it was around 66 for the Badgers.
We were favored?
Yes. 66% based off ESPN's win predictor.
We've always done well. I mean, we've matched.
It's at Camp Randall. I think
that hasn't been magical against the Gophers the last few years.
Okay, fair.
Shockingly.
Fair.
That was Flush It or Flesh It. For more than 65 years, Gordon Fletch Company has been providing cutting-edge technology for companies of all sizes, and they're the nation's largest Canon and Lexmark dealers. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light. We got game balls coming up next.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday.
So what's better than a Packers win? Celebrating a Packers win behind the wheel of a newly redesigned 2024 Chevy Traverse C71. Yeah, that's better. And right now at Quick Trip, for every $1 you spend with Quick Rewards, you'll earn a Fan Zone point to spend in the Packers Zone. Then with your Quick Rewards app, spend points for your chance to win prizes throughout the season, like a Chevy Traverse C71. Kick off your winning season with Quick Trip and your Green Bay Packers. See quicktrip.com/fanzone for details.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at metrofordofmadison.com. That's metrofordofmadison.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle, Bruston, Norman, and football season is back, and you know I'm watching every snap with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in my hand. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. You make picks for your pick'em entry and choose if a player will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 2.5 touchdown passes, or even Tyreek Hill lower than 150 receiving yards. Over 1 million fans got in on the action last season, and it is time for you to jump aboard. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app at UnderdogFantasy.com or sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Join me this football season and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Heart disease and stroke claim more lives per year than all forms of cancer combined. So let's make sure you're keeping your heart healthy. Join Stoughton Health's advanced practice nurse Tina DeGroot for Cardiology 101, a 60-minute free online talk on Thursday, November 7th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. We'll explore topics like how does the heart work, lifestyle choices that affect the heart, medications that are used to prevent and treat heart disease. To sign up, visit stoughtonhealth.com, then click on Classes and Events.
We're on the Packers.
On Sunday, in the NFC, the two best teams are going to be playing.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
Got to take care of it at home.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Celebrations Entertainment, complete event services for weddings, corporate events, nonprofit events, outdoor movies, casino nights, and so much more. Go to celebrationsentertainment.com to get started today. And we're certainly not really celebrating this 42-10 blowout the Badgers felt today against the Iowa Hawkeyes. That was a really tough game, and you know, it was just not what you wanted to see. You're looking at your phone, shaking your head, Mertzy. I don't know if you're texting away or if you're seeing a stat that's really hurting your feelings, but it's just that kind of game. So now we're going to celebrate the team by giving out the game balls.
Who outshined the rest? Time for the guys to give out their game balls.
I'm going to need some extra time on this one, guys, so who wants to take it away?
All right, listen, it was not pretty all the way through. The Badgers lose 42-10 to the Hawkeyes. They're beaten really every single category. There's nothing that felt like they really did that well. I know that it was against bad defenses, right? But I'm going to go ahead and give my game ball to someone who I think is doing something right and should be a good part of this offense moving forward. That's Darian Dupree. He had just as many yards, 52, as Tyree Walker did on less than half as many attempts. He also was involved in the passing game. 2 for 17. So he had a grand total of 69 yards, and for that he gets my game ball.
All right, Mertzy, you got one? Otherwise, I got one.
Man, you know, I'll give one out, and this is, man. I'm going to give it to Christian Allegro.
You took mine. Dang it. I got to keep looking now.
I mean, it's hard to... How do you give a game ball to a defensive player on a night like this when they give up 42 points and 329 yards? But, like, here's why.
On the ground. Not 329 total.
On the ground.
On the ground.
On the ground. Wait. hey, since I took your guy, you give the rationale.
The rationale for Allegro?
Yeah.
He's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore, and he's going to be a piece of this defense going forward, and he needs to be. And he filled in well in place of Jaheim Thomas. I think he's a guy getting him reps right now. Whether or not, it's necessarily good or bad sometimes. He might not always be making the right plays. He was chasing a lot tonight, but 8 tackles is still nothing to sniff at, so that's why he deserves it as a true sophomore stepping up in this game.
Yeah, and in my mind, he's like, that's the exact kind of guy that I want to see playing defense for Wisconsin in this system. That's where I get excited about it. I mean, his athleticism is off the charts. Big dude. I just really like what I see out of him, and I would love to see a little bit more of that out of the entire linebacker unit.
I think that there's another team that deserves some praise this week. You and I both, pre-game, we were given our pre-game picks. Portland State, 58 over Sacramento State Hornets, 38. They were 13.5-point underdogs, and they went out and they dominated. They would have covered had it been the other way around.
Think about it.
Second game ball goes to the Portland State Vikings.
36-point turn.
36-point turn. That's crazy. Now I'm hoping that the top 10 is playing on ESPN right now behind us, and there are some crazy catches in college football.
Get that guy from Wyoming to come into the Badgers.
For sure. A wide receiver just out there making plays. I'm hoping that my Green Bay Packers will make me feel better tomorrow, but I'm not entirely sure that they will. Final closing thoughts on this Badgers game really quick.
Man, wipe it away. It happened. It was ugly, and the Badgers better regroup. In 2 weeks, they got the number 1 team coming in the nation coming to town with Oregon. They got Maryland next week. They're going to wipe up on Maryland. So get ready for a primetime under the lights. Well, I shouldn't say that. It'll probably be a junk game.
All right. Well, that has been ESPN Wisconsin College Gameday presented by Coors Light. I'm Alex Gravatt on behalf of the entire ESPN Wisconsin team. The Badgers take an L.
Your warehouse concrete floors see a lot of traffic. Uneven, sinking, or cracked concrete can pose a serious threat to any business operation. From trip hazards to cracked foundations, sinking concrete can keep any business owner up at night. Concrete Lifting Technologies is here to help. Concrete Lifting Technologies can even out that concrete floor to prevent these hazards. They can level your warehouse floor within a few hours and don't even need to